Okay, I think I'm recording. Yeah, here we go. Welcome to the very first chess novice video. I will be doing instructional videos on chess as well as playing videos in English, which is also going to be a little bit of a challenge for me because I'm not used to speaking English. Um, but I'm going to try to kind of give you some advice and, well, just, so I can follow my own journey through the progression of chess tactics and whatever you want. So I'm no expert myself. My over the board rating, my rating here on chess.com is about 1400. A little over 1400, I think, but there's nothing special. Really, nothing special. And my tactics rating is 1700. But I feel like I am qualified to instruct you here. As the title says, the rating is set for the problems to be between 800 and 1000. So the first tip I can give you, let's go dive straight into the tactics. The first tip I can give you is to look for checks. So the first rule, I think I'll give you 3 basic rules to get over 1000 rating in tactics. That should be quite possible with these 3 tips. Look for checks. In this position, if we look for checks, we see that we have no checks. The reason why you want to look for checks is because they are very forcing, which means that your opponent has to respond to them, and often he has to respond in a very certain way. So if you check him, he maybe only has 2 opportunities. He maybe only have 2 squares to go to. He maybe only can capture back, and you might get more pieces into the attack and can mate him. So look for checks, but okay, there are no checks in this position. The second thing is to look for captures, and we see that there are pretty much only one piece that we can capture in this very position. The only piece we can capture is this bishop. So, okay, what happens if we capture it? Well, our queen takes it, his queen takes back, and our rook takes back. And we have gotten the bishop and the queen for only the queen. Have we got anything better? As I said, there are no direct threats. Okay, we can move our rook over here, but he can just take it with his queen, so that would be no good. There's no threat. So, if we take, we win the bishop. And he takes back with the queen, and we take back with the rook. And we won a bishop and a queen for the queen. Very nice. Next problem. Let's go. Okay, here we go. And let's look for checks. Do we see any checks? We're going through the steps like this, right? So we look for checks. Do we see any checks? And yes, we do. We see a check if our queen moves. I'm going to use notation here, so if you don't follow along, look at these numbers. 1, 2, where my mouse is pointing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H down here. So that means if I say Queen G3, we look at G, we find A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we find 1, 2, 3. So that means this square. Okay, if our queen takes here, it's a check, and there are no pieces he can move in between, which means he has to move his king, right? His king has to move. There are no pieces that can go in between the queen that will be here and his king here. So, can he move over here? I'll give you some seconds to think about it, and you can also pause the video. Can his king go over here? No, it can't. There's the knight here on e4, watching over that square. So he can only go here, right? That's the only opportunity. He can only go to f1. In that case, since our queen is on g3, the queen can go to f2, and it's a mate. So captures are very forcing. Very nice. As you see, it's only practice mode, so I have no racing changes. Okay. Oh, look at this. This doesn't appear to be particularly comfortable. Okay, so let us look here. What possible things do we have? Do we have checks? And yes, we do. The only check we really have is for our rook on b1 to take on b6, like this. However, after he takes it back with the king, we got nothing, right? We just lost a piece. So, okay, do we have any other? No checks. Okay. Can we attack? Are there any hanging pieces? Well, the rook on e8 is hanging, but how are we ever gonna get to it? Okay. So, what about moving? Well, what can we do that really attacks anything? So, try and attack something, right? Attack something. If we move our pawn on c4 forward, c5, well, he can't take with the pawn because we have our rook here looking straight at the king, so this pawn can't move. Okay, maybe the bishop can take, right? Can the bishop take? Well, yeah, it kind of can. Well, so, okay, let's say the bishop takes it. What do? We take with the rook, but hey, wait a minute. Then he can take our knight, so this doesn't work. Okay, so, okay, let's move here, and the bishop takes, and the rook takes, and the rook takes. The rook on d7 takes our knight down here, so that wouldn't work. Okay. Okay, so, are there other combinations? Let's say we move our pawn forward here, and he takes with the bishop. We can't take the bishop back. Well, maybe we can take the rook instead. You see that? Then suddenly this isn't covered. So, and if he doesn't take with the bishop, he moves his bishop back, then we just take the rook anyways. So let's do it. Okay. That was correct. Now let me get some water here. Okay, so we have two pieces eyeing down his king. Okay. Is there any checks? There are many checks. We have queen b1. Doesn't work. We have queen e1. Doesn't work. We have queen b2. Doesn't work. So what else have we got? We have got rook c1. That doesn't work. And I hope you see why none of them works. Because the rook can just take it, or the king can just take it. Okay. Well, other checks. Do we have any other checks? Yeah, we do. We have this move, queen c3. Where can he go after queen c3? Well, none of his pieces can block, right? So he has to move his king to b1. Okay, so now the queen, if it is here, let's do it. His king, this queen is covering c2, c1, it's also covering b2 and a1, which means this king has no place to go if he's checked again. Now, so because of that, because of this queen making a prison, we want to check this king with another piece and not the queen. Now, what other piece can attack the king right now? And, yep, rook b4 check, and it's mate. Now, I'm spending quite some time here, but it's okay, it should be instructional. Okay, he's doing something. Okay, and it's risky. Well, okay, we want to look for checks, right? Checks. Okay. We have many checks with the queen, but none of them really does anything. If we check on g4, he takes it, and we with his queen, or no, he takes it with his knight, and we got nothing. This doesn't work either because of the pawn or the knight taking again, whatever he so desires. So, okay, do we have other checks? Okay, we see that this pawn is on the same file as the rook and the king, which means if it moves, he's in check. So, okay, if we move here, what can he do? He can't capture the pawn back because he's in check, and if he wants to capture with the king, which is in check, which he has to save, well, he can't because the queen will be covering the pawn, right? So he can either go to g2 with his king if we capture this pawn, or he can block the check with his queen, but he doesn't want to cover it with his queen because then we just take his queen. So if we could do this check, he will go to g2. Okay, what have we got? Do we have more checks? Well, we see once again, if we move our pawn, he's in check. Okay, so, well, do we want to move our pawn? We can take this rook, right? That looks pretty good. So let's do it. And he's in check, and he captures the rook back. And we are doing the pawn back, and we're doing pretty good. Okay, let's do a few more before we hit the 15-minute mark. Got 4 minutes to do that. Okay, this is the exact same tactic which we started with, you remember? How strange to get the same tactic twice like that. Okay, here we go. We are wide. Okay. So, he just captured our rook. You saw that down here in the corner. He just took our rook. Okay. Well, can we checkmate him with the 2 bishops? Well, no. We can't just there's no way we can checkmate him with the 2 bishops. His king is too safe. Okay, well, he has 2 rooks and a bishop, and we have 2 rooks and a bishop. We have 2 bishops, a knight, and a rook. Now, if we could... So we are 4 pieces versus 3. Well, okay, we're a piece up, but can we get another piece up? Yes. We see that this piece is attacked, so we can take it. And now we have 1 rook, 1 rook. So he has 1 rook for 2 bishops and a knight, and this should be comfortably winning for white. Okay, let's do a last one, maybe. Okay, so black. Okay, well, checks. Let's look for checks. Checks. We have 1, 2. As I can see, we have 3 checks. Let me just make sure. Yeah, we have check on h1. He takes our queen, and we get nothing. Because if we check with the queen on h1 and king takes h1 and rook c1 check, he can just go back to h2 where his king is right now, and we can't mate him, and we are down a queen. The same thing goes for g1. Doesn't work because of that. Well, what's the only last check we have left? Well, this check, right? e5 check. Now, why is this so good? Well, it's attacking the rook on d6 and the king at the same time, which means he can't save both. Okay, he blocks with the bishop. Now we just take the rook. That's it. Let's do one last one. I just do it really quickly. Okay, so hanging pieces, whatever. He's got this piece is hanging, this piece is undefended. Which means if we can... Well, it's defended by the knight, but if we remove the knight, it's undefended, right? So if we take the knight, he takes it back. And we take the bishop, we want a piece. Okay, nice. So this was the first video from Chess Novice. I hope you enjoy, and I'll try and make a lot more videos. Hopefully I don't suck too much at explaining. So yeah, thank you very much for watching.